What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 5th Buc Ball podcast. Today we're going to go over our new signings, our new Christmas presents, if I will, and I can't wait to hear this.
And threads the needle on the slant to Deshaun Jackson, and he's gone. I guess they found him. 64-yard touchdown pass to Deshaun Jackson.
That's right. Deshaun Jackson is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Jason Light went out and made a splash. And kind of as we all expected, Deshaun Jackson is in Tampa Bay on a 3-year, $35 million deal with $20 million guaranteed. Now, Deshaun led the league in yards per catch last year, and even at 31 years old, he can still fly. Now, I don't think this will deter the Bucs from drafting a receiver, just because he still makes defenders look slow. He's getting up there and might want to run a 4.5 for long. This should take some tension off the running game. Even though Deshaun's a deep threat, I'm sure Cutter can get him on some drag routes or some slants to free up linebackers. Overall, I'm excited. And we didn't have to overpay for him, even though we have a ton of cap room. Now, like I said, he led the league with 17.9 yards per catch, and he had 19 catches over 20 yards and 5 over 40. Now, mind you, the Bucs didn't even have a single catch over 45 last year. And our run after the catch was horrible. I can't find the exact stat that I seen, but it was in the bottom 5 or 10 in the category. Now, Deshaun is electric with the ball in his hands, and let's just say for funsies that if we added Deshaun's production to our own numbers from last year, we would have had 83 catches of 20-plus yards and 8 for 40. It's fun to dream, right? But overall, I'm excited for this new but slightly used Christmas present we got, and I can't wait to fire those cannons. Now, getting to our own free agents, we've re-signed a lot of our own exclusive rights free agents like expected. I'm glad we tendered Jacques Smith because as an undrafted guy, he's averaged 6 to 8 sacks off the edge when healthy, and you just can't have enough pass rushers. Adam Humphries and Cam Brate aren't going anywhere, of course, so I'm really glad of that. I didn't think we would Well, yeah, I kind of did, kind of didn't. But I really didn't think we would re-sign Conti. But to be honest, if you can get him back cheap and draft another safety for competition, that'd be great too. We signed J.J. Wilcox from Dallas, and he's still relatively young too. The tape I've watched of him, he's more of an in-box safety to me. He did get benched last year, but, we signed him to an $8.5 million contract for 2 years, so I guess it's not too bad. Now, I am upset, as most true Bucs fans are, about losing Russell Shepard to the Panthers. Even though he didn't contribute much to the passing game, he was our special teams ace, and his leadership and true team player passion will be missed. But, good for him to go be a solid number 3 if he can be. I really hope the signing of Wilcox isn't an indication of Bradley McDougald leaving, though. I mean, he might have asked for too much money and they won't match it, but it's still early, and free agency is still rolling strong with the second wave approaching. Now, I'll be honest with you. I love the Chris Baker signing the more I watched from him last year, even though I didn't even really know too much about him. But now that I've done some research and listened to his press conference, he's been in a 3-4 defense since he got into the league 9 years ago. But his production the last 2 years is matching right there with some of the most elite defensive tackles. He's got 101 tackles, 8 sacks, and 5 forced fumbles in 2 years, in a 3-4. Now, I can envision him freeing up Gerald, which he said he can't wait because he's never played next to an elite pass rusher. Now, like I said, I don't think this will stop the Bucs from drafting a wide receiver. The Bucs always spend in free agency and draft in pairs when it comes to a skill position, so it doesn't mean they won't draft one in a later round. It just might not be the first, it might be the second, it might be the third, who knows. But what a crazy first day of free agency, though. And I was going to do this podcast after, maybe 3 or 4 days later, once all the dust settled, but I just couldn't wait. I just wanted to go ahead and get talking about it. Now, we did lose Mike Glennon to the Bears for a 3-year, $45 million deal. Now, to me, I loved Mike as a backup because he wasn't going to lose us the game if Winston went down, but he also might not win it. Now, what I mean by that is he's just a safe quarterback. He doesn't make mistakes because he isn't aggressive. He's a check-down Charlie, which is good in some ways, and Chicago might still draft a quarterback. Who knows? But he doesn't have Mike Evans or Vincent Jackson or Alshon Jeffrey to throw to now. He had a couple 50-50 ball catchers to toss it up when he did feel aggressive, and that's no more. But with all that being said, I can't wait to do my second mock draft. And looking at the first one that I did, all these free agency losses and additions shook my board all up. And I can't wait to do it. It's going to be a fun exercise. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Now, with that being said, I'm going to be starting a Buc Ball Twitter, which I already have it up, but I'm going to be starting Buc Ball Twitter podcast questions. So people that are listening, you go onto a Twitter, you type in Buc Ball Podcast, you'll see my logo. Ask me a question. It could be about anything NFL related. It could be Bucks related, maybe even Seminoles related. I'd love to talk about the Seminoles. Just type in the question and put hashtag Buc Ball. And that will be how we'll do our Twitter questions. I can't wait to get that going. I hope I get a lot of feedback on my mock drafts, on the Bucs content in general, what I can do right, what I'm doing wrong. Be a lot of fun. Whoa, we got some breaking news on the Buc Ball podcast here. The Bucs have re-signed Josh Robinson. We got him as a free agent last year, and we had him more as a cornerback depth. But he ended up being a special teamer, and he ended up being one of our aces. Him, Russell Shepard, Ryan Smith, along with Brian Anger, they had our special teams playing in the top 5 special teams in the league. It might not be big news or the sexiest pick to anybody or the sexiest signing, but to me that's great because you want to have some continuity. You want to keep whatever's right, going. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah. That makes sense. Now, one of the craziest moves of the first day of free agency was, I don't even know if you would call it a blockbuster. It was almost like a just straight kick in the balls. But the Houston Texans send Brock Osweiler and a second-round pick to Cleveland. I mean, that is just, I don't think that's ever even happened before in free agency. It's just crazy. And to be honest with you, I'm glad they did it. They admitted they made a mistake. They cut bait. I mean, he didn't even have I don't even think he had over 3,000 yards or 3,500 yards. He had more interceptions than touchdowns. He just can't read defenses. And now that this has happened, it makes John Elway look that much smarter. Because everybody was freaking out. Why didn't you resign him? Why didn't you resign him? I mean, John Elway was a quarterback. When he knows when he sees a good quarterback. And obviously he looked at Brock Osweiler and said, nah, send him to the Texans. Now that they've done that, this is a clear-cut indication that they're going after Tony Romo. The Houston Texans are going to try to keep Tony in Texas, take him maybe a 3-hour drive from Dallas. That would be an exciting offense. I was excited for the AFC South because, they had Marcus Mariota, they had Brock Osweiler, they had Andrew Luck. They had all these up-and-coming quarterbacks, Blake Bortles, but that went down south fast. But at least from a fan's perspective, when the Houston Texans released Brock Osweiler, at least they didn't make them suffer through another year of him. Now, as far as what Cleveland's going to do, they pretty much picked up his contract. That's $16 million, almost $17 million that they're going to have to pay him. And if they cut him, I'm not really sure how that works, but I think they might as well just keep him. Keep him, his contract's already on the books. They have 11 picks in this draft and next draft. Just keep him. They have $100 million in cap room, maybe a little bit less after the free agent signings, but hell, if Hugh Jackson's there, maybe he can get something out of Brock. Who knows? But they should still draft a quarterback. Now, they have the 1st and the 12th. The Jimmy G trade is looking less and less likely. You know how Bill Belichick works. He's going to want the 1st overall pick or nothing. And speaking of the Patriots, the rich get richer. They get Coney Ealy from the Panthers for a 2nd rounder, which is crazy because Coney Ealy is a 2nd rounder. So Bill Belichick's just pulling off amazing deals. And then on top of that, they get Brandon Cooks from the Saints. You're giving Tom Brady more weapons. The Saints, I'm glad Brandon Cooks isn't in our division no more, But, I mean, I'm tired of seeing the Patriots just win. They just keep getting richer. The rich keep getting richer. It's bullshit. But let me hit the brakes on other team free agency talk. And let's go back to the Combine a little bit. Now, I was surprised that Dalvin Cook ran a 4.5. And to me, I don't think that's accurate. There's no way that he runs a 4.5 and is just blowing past people like he did. I mean, I know he has the agility and the lateral quickness, but to me, he seemed like he ran at least a 4.4 or a 4.5 or, like a 4.45, but a 4.5. And Leonard Fournette ran the same time, maybe a second later, but he's got 30 pounds on Dalvin Cook. As far as the top 3 running backs goes, Christian McCaffrey probably made the most money out of the Combine. He finished in the top 5 categories in all the agility drills, the 3-cone shuttle, the 40-yard dash. I mean, he did lights out damage, and he improved his draft stock significantly. The wide receivers, a lot of wide receivers stood out other than the top 5. You got Corey Davis. John Ross, he ran 4.2. That was an unofficial time, of course, but still, that's the fastest at the Combine. But I mean, you had all these wide receivers make a lot of money for themselves. Godwin from Penn State, he ran a 4.4, and I wouldn't mind having that guy. He looked very smooth in his catching, the over-the-shoulder drills, but to catch the ball, put it right in their hands. He's a good route runner. I've been watching a little bit of film on him. I mean, there's a lot of second-round wide receivers, and to be honest with you, the running backs that all ran 4.5s, that might be pushing them down the board. I mean, the game is all about speed kills. Mike Williams didn't even run, but we all know that he's not the fastest guy. I think he might have he probably would have ran a 4.5 or 4.52 or whatever, but we all know what he is. He's a big body possession receiver. He's still going to catch a lot of balls. He's going to have a lot of yardage. He's more of a DeAndre Hopkins type player. Nothing's going to get out of his hands. He's going to win all 50-50 balls. Now, the tight ends. The tight ends made some serious money this Combine. You got David Njoku. What is the guy from Ole Miss? Oh, Ingram. He had the fastest 40 time for a tight end. O.J. Howard ran a 4.5, and he's got some serious size and weight on him. Now, if the Bucs drafted a tight end, I don't think I'd be too upset, because it'd be nice to have a 2 tight end set. You know what I mean? You could have Deshaun and Mike on one side. You could have O.J. Howard or David Njoku and then Cameron Brate. And, that's what the Patriots do. Why not copy the Patriots model? I mean, that's what they wanted to do when everybody's healthy. But I don't think I'd be too upset. But the whole thing with me is, if you draft a tight end in the first round, he's going to take up, to me, the majority of the snaps. I mean, you're going to have a 2 tight end set most of the time, but not all of the time. So if you draft a tight end in the first round, I think you're going to take away from Cameron Brate. And he's worked too hard. He led the league in tight end touchdowns. Actually, he might have tied the lead. But, I mean, he works so hard. He's an undrafted guy. He's cheap. There's no need to stunt that production or stunt that growth. But my next episode is going to be my second mock draft. It's going to take me a little bit longer because I got to get a full list of every free agent signing, loss, or addition. But my second one, I'm going to do a little more in-depth. The first one I kind of just shot from the hip, looked at the top 50 or 60 prospects, thought about the team, and placed them. The next one, I'm going to have to do a lot more digging, a lot more research. But that's it for today's podcast, guys. I hope you liked it. As always, go to the Buc Ball Twitter. Send me some Twitter questions, and I'll try to answer them on the next episode. Peace out, guys, and shoot me some feedback. Have a good one.